Hi everyone, this is Telynn. It's January 16th, 2020, and I've been guided to share a message with you from Spirit. I have several that I've been being guided to share, and I'm now making the time to spread the information that I've been given, that I have been led to believe, been shown, rather is a better word, is going to be useful to the collective. So that means you. I am going to start by pulling cards. I read cards among other avenues of understanding and gaining knowledge from spirit, my higher self, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, the ascended masters, all those who come from the love and the light to guide us and assist us on our journeys here on earth and always. The reading cards is one of the ways, but the main thing that I want to make clear is that it's not necessarily my words or what the card is showing. It's the energy that is behind my words and the energy that's coming off of the card. So it's some may think of it as reading between the lines. It's being in the same vibrational or similar vibrational field to gain the understanding that is being meant for you to gain, if that makes sense. I think it will make a little more sense as we go further along. So the first card we have is the lightning bolt. Oftentimes that means a splitting apart of something. It's nothing is really negative unless you choose to view it in a negative context. I try to view everything in a positive context, but being in a 3D human form right now, sometimes I do catch myself thinking negatively, and I'm learning to correct myself. So it's not that somebody who is vibrating in a higher consciousness is never ever going to think of something in a negative connotation, in a negative way. But when we do, we're going to correct ourselves quicker. Life is a journey, it's a process. We're never going to be perfect here in our 3D forms, but knowing that we're working towards being our best selves is a pretty cool thing. It's something we can all aspire to. And I know as soon as I start on a project, losing weight, for example, I'll feel thinner the next day, even though I may not have even lost a pound yet. Just knowing that when you pay attention to things, sometimes not the losing weight so much, but certain things will automatically change. A professor in college once said that he was a behaviorist teacher, and we all had to pick something that we wanted to modify, a behavior that we wanted to modify or eliminate. And so some people in the class chose smoking. And so he wrote on the board, he said, we have something that we call, when we start monitoring, watching, getting our baseline prepared, noticing in that example how many cigarettes they smoked a day. And he wrote on the board, cured. So it's like sometimes just beginning to pay attention to things is all the resolve, is all the answer that you need. So when things are splitting apart, it's so that they can be rebirthed, or so that a birth can take place. You've probably heard the saying, new beginnings come from endings. So an ending, a splitting apart, is not always a bad thing. It's rarely, if ever, a bad thing. It's reformulating. It's so that something better or the next leg of the journey can begin. And too oftentimes we want things to stay the same when they're going well. Change is difficult, and especially if things are going well in your life, who wants to shake things up and change things? But we don't really grow when we're not changing. It's even when you change the way you go to work, the way you go to the grocery store, the roads you take. Just changing things up a little bit can shift so much and bring on new things, new experiences. And sometimes we'll be guided to take a different road to the grocery store, to work, to pick up the children. And it's because you will discover, sometimes right away and sometimes later, You might have met somebody that day. Your friend that you hadn't seen in 10 years is, happened to be crossing at the same time, that you were crossing that street, and you make plans to meet. There's just so many different things that, even like I said, aren't always obvious at the time of why we chose to go that certain way. So in essence, it's paying attention to your higher guidance, which is coming from your higher self, your spirit guides, your guardian angels, the ascended masters, all the beings who come from the love and the light. It's a way of accelerating your growth. We're all here to grow. We made the choice to come in this physical incarnation. We're not victims. We're not being punished. We had lessons we wanted to learn when we came here. And our spirit, the best way I heard it put, if we chose to walk down a certain road in this life, we're going to walk down that road. Whether what avenues we take to get to that specific road is always changing. We have free will. So we may have plan A, where we were going to make a direct path to that road and it was going to be, easy breezy. And then maybe we didn't take that easy breezy road, and we ended up on path C or D or X, Y, path Z even. And path Z, like the branches of a tree, has so many other options on it. So the point is, if you chose to walk down a certain road in life, to walk down a certain hallway, just examples trying to illustrate this, you're going to do that. But how you get there can be constantly changing, can happen in more than a million different kinds of ways. So it's about being open. And when we're trying to guide our lives with our 3D human brain, we're not going to get very far, because we can't conceive of anything close to what our spirit can conceive of. And when we made these plans, our spirit was in control. Our spirit was guiding us, designing the whole thing. So when you meditate, and I know we've all heard we should meditate, a lot of people are already great at it. A lot of people are trying to get good at it, and some people have never even tried it. It's like a muscle. You can build on it. It will get better. So keep trying. If you are able to silence your mind for 10 minutes, 10 seconds to begin with, that's amazing. Next time, maybe it'll be a minute. It's 10 seconds or a minute or however long that you have done that. So if you have never done it before, now you have. Even if it was for not even as long as you wanted it to, you've made the start. You've began. And that's when your spirit gets to lead you. So the smarter part of you, your spirit, can be in control for a while and put you on paths that you need to be on, that your human brain, which is, also we call our human 3D self the ego, if the ego is guiding us instead of our spirit, we tend to look at things from an ego perspective as the person who wins the game is the one with the fanciest cars, the fanciest homes, maybe the best looking spouse. And these things our spiritual self could care less about. And the things our spiritual self cares about are the important things. They're the things that last through eternity. The lessons, everything that we take home with us from these lives. So a rough comparison would be, I choose to live by the ego in this worldly life because I'm here now and I want the fancy cars and the mansions and the good-looking spouse. So even though that's only a minute out of a whole lifetime, just using a time comparison, I'm going to take that. Where the spirit self is more likely going to say something to the extent of, I will forego the fancy homes because that is probably not what my spirit chose for me to experience in this life. You're staying open, remember? So maybe your spirit did choose for you to experience those things. But if it didn't, you cannot attach to that and think that you will only be happy if you attain those earthly goods, the fancy cars, the multi-million-dollar mansions now. You want to feel as though you have those. So actually having the $20 million mansion may not feel that great. You may be a miserable person living in a beautiful home like that, driving a fancy car. What our ego really wants, even though it doesn't know it, is to feel as good as we would feel if we had the $20 million mansion and the fancy cars and, the wonderful spouses and everything. So spirit knows all this. The more you can quiet the mind and let spirit come out and lead the way, and spirit will be leading the way even when you're not meditating. This is an important thing to realize. When spirit is leading the way, when you're meditating, it leads the way. It opens the path for spirit to lead you even when you're not meditating. So if you're experiencing a difficult moment, you don't have to go into meditation to be feeling better in that moment. The moment is already going to be less stressful if you've been meditating, on somewhat of a regular basis. Other than if you hadn't ever been meditating. Meditation, it just opens you up to a whole new different realm, because we're not used to letting our spirits guide us. We're used to thinking the ego is where it's at and that's all it is, and we learn things we have to do to survive in this world, but spirit knows so much more. So the more you can open up to spirit, the more comfortable you're going to be navigating your way through this world, and the more likely it will be that you will accomplish in a more timely fashion, what your soul came here to accomplish. Basically, I want you to take away the meaning to stay open and letting your spirit guide you whenever possible. Using meditation is just one of the tools, the main tool, to help you get to that point where you can let spirit guide you more often. And the Buddha Prepares is the next card I pulled. And this card it's about knowing that things will come when the time comes. You can't rush it. The Buddha, in this instance, is preparing for the next adventure, the next leg of the journey. He doesn't know how long he's going to be in meditation, in prayer, in solitude, working a job he doesn't like. Obviously, that's not the Buddha. I'm using this as an example, so that you can understand it in this 3D matrix that we live in. It's understanding that it will happen when the time comes. There's a lot of things that need to be moved into place for the things that your soul chose to experience in this life to start coming to fruition, to start being experienced. The scribe. This often means preparing to write, and it's not just writing, it's the birthing of an idea, which they show this to us as a book. It's something that you're giving birth to that is your creation. So that's why the book scenario analogy comes in. But it's not going to be a book for everybody. For some of us, it will be a book, but it's something that you've been working on. It's something that your higher self came here to accomplish. So maybe you're not even aware of this yet, but it's in your blueprint, and it will be made known to you when the time is right. The King of Roses often signifies romance. And while different times when I pull these cards, it means different things, that's what I'm getting at this moment. I don't know, for some of you it will be the rekindling of a current romance, a past romance that's maybe coming back around again because maybe you haven't learned what you both came here to learn from each other, or maybe the timing wasn't right and now you can go on to enjoy the long-term, till death do you part, although there is no death, just death of the body. That type of relationship. But for many of us, it means the beginning of a brand new relationship. And I will touch on soulmates, twin flames, karmics, all the different types of relationships that we encounter when we're in these incarnations on Earth. But it's way too deep of a subject, and I'm just trying to hit on some of the more different various topics that I will be. This is kind of like a a chapter index. This is showing the different things I'm going to talk about in upcoming videos. So I'm giving out little highlights now, and I will go more into depth because these subjects are so interesting. I could talk forever on these subjects. So I don't want to minimize anything by not giving it enough time. It's due time. Balance. The next card is balance. Achieving balance in life is where we find our happiness. You can't be just working at a job and doing nothing else. You may be able to do that for a while. Obviously, we all have. I'm not saying you can't do it. You will not feel fulfilled by just working. You will not, most of the time, feel fulfilled by just playing. Most of us have plans we came here, things we came to accomplish in this life. So when we have a balance of, it's best if you can make a pie chart of things that are important to you. So some people, vacationing may not be on that chart. There's nothing to balance out there with vacationing. For some people, they're going to have work, school, vacationing, as big parts of their wheel, their circle. For me, I'm not vacationing at this point in my life, and things change. So next time I talk to you, vacationing could be a big part of that balance. But for now, that would have a very small piece of the pie in my circle right now. So you can't say that everybody should balance vacation and work and play, because a lot of people aren't going to all have the same desires. So make your little pie chart, see what things are most important to you, and you can assign numbers to it. How much this traveling is very important to me, vacationing, and here I don't have any, that's got a tiny little space on my pie chart. So that might be something you want to create more balance with. If you find that working is taking over pretty much all of your life, you may want to add a little time to play. And then you may have to figure out since we're always changing, what do I even consider play now? It's going to be different for everybody. So conferring with friends on things like this, it's always fun to talk about, different aspects. But since we all took different roads to get to where we are today, there's never going to be two people who are exactly on the same course, who came here to do exactly the same things and who feel exactly the same way about everything. It's not going to happen. But finding people who resonate, who vibrate on similar levels as you, your soul tribe, some people call it, that's wonderful. It's so nice when you can have people who understand you with the least amount of words. It's a great feeling. And then we have the community card. It's funny because that's what I was just talking about. Reaching out, branching out. There may be relationships that you thought you would have forever, friends, but you're evolving at a different rate than they are, at a different pace. And so instead of seeing each other once a week or talking on the phone a few times a week, you may find that it's less and less. And at first we tend to mourn that, but these people have been in my life for, 10, 20, 30 years. I thought we would go through life together. And you still can. They may not just play as prominent of a role because your higher self realizes that they need to take more of a back seat now as more of your quote unquote soul tribe come in to assist you on your journey in helping you complete what your soul came here to complete, to learn, to help, so many different things. And again, trying to understand it all with, our 3D human brain, it can get frustrating. So if you can just understand enough to where it helps you, and then keep learning and listening to, YouTube videos and reading books and articles and everything that you can read that resonates with you, so that you're always shifting and adding to your belief system and allowing it to change when necessary. Those things move you forward and assist you in completing what you came here to complete, even if you're not going to be able to say it in so many words. Well, my soul chose to do this. It doesn't matter. You just stay open to the guidance from your higher self, your guardian angels, your spirit guides, and all the beings who come from the love and the light, and you'll get there. It's you often know when you're on that path. It feels right. Fated meeting. We have another romance card. Uh, Clearly romance is in the air and Valentine's Day is not that far away. So maybe we're being guided to pick up on the energies of Valentine's Day, but I think it's more than that. I don't think it has to do with just a holiday that, we celebrate here in the earthly realm. I think we're really trying to be shown that there is a romantic love. And I'm not having self-love, which will be a whole other video. Love for our children, our parents, our siblings, our friends. That's a different thing. What keeps coming up in these cards is a romantic type of love. So be open to that. It's either a renewing of a love that already exists, a romantic love that already exists, or meeting somebody new, or somebody from your past who is going to, play a new role in your life. Just stay open. It's exciting. It's all positive and it's all good. And it doesn't sound like it's a short-term type of relationship that's coming. It sounds like this is more of a soulmate, a fated type of relationship, something you've been waiting for, something that's going to be good, something that something that you read about in romance novels, something that is, of the highest kind of love, the highest kind of romance. I'm going to pull a card from my Reiki deck, and the card that came up is play. Again, we have the balance. We need to work. Some of us are lucky enough to work at jobs we love. We need to make money to survive in this world, but we need to always remember that we came here to play too. It wasn't just to accomplish certain things in this lifetime. We came here to play and enjoy the physical sensations that our bodies can provide for us. That's everything, even including consuming food. It's all these things that we enjoy when we're here in the earthly realm. So strive for the balance. Look forward to the romance. Continue to practice self-love, self-respect, because without those things, it's going to be hard to find the love that you desire in another. You have to make yourself happy first before you're going to feel happiness coming from the outside. It will never just come from the outside unless you're good with you. And I work largely in confidence counseling, confidence coaching. So check out my website. It's Telynn, TelynnSpiritTalk.com, spelled TELYNN.com. Why am I messing up on that? TELYNN spirittalk.com. There we go. Check out my website. You can learn a little more about me. You can reach me through there. I can work one-on-one with you. I am also going to be doing more videos. As I mentioned, I want to expand on a lot of the topics that I was only able to touch on in this video. And yeah, I will be around. Look for me. And until then, I wish you all the love and the light.